What's going on, gamers? We got some crazy news over here happening in the UK and in general with a lot of backlashing going on. Here goes another huge thing. With PlayStation lately, it's been crazy when it comes to topics. Before, we know what was going on with, the DRM, but this situation is actually real. But there's also some misunderstandings here. No, not coming to defend Sony. It's not what this is about. What this is about is, once again, understanding the ignorance of the internet and people just being hordes of sheep, and then understanding that this is a regulation that kind of is enforced by the UK. And for what? I mean, what do you think? You don't remember all the Epstein stuff? You don't remember the roadblock stuff? You don't remember a lot of things going on in general when it comes to, PDFs and stuff like that, right? And just protecting certain communities. And then, of course, there's going to be at the same time, too, I know what you're saying, people who want to exploit privacy and safety. I mean, that's been going on. But this is not a Sony thing. This is something that is happening all across Europe. Some people are thinking they're going North Korea style, and then just in general, right? Because we have a lot to talk about on this subject because it needs to be understood. So yeah, first of all, this is not a Sony issue. This is a regulation, European issue. So go down here, you get the idea right here when it comes to International Cyber Digest. And then we're going to read some more stuff. Breaking, the European Commission just told all 27 member states to hurry up with rolling out online age verification, demanding deployment before the end of 2026. As today, how many systems stop anyone bypassing it with a VPN from outside of the European system? Vice President, as we see, Verkukin, said only that it is an important part of next steps. You got the other guy, too, that people are kind of putting on the spotlight with the glasses. I forgot his name. You guys know who I'm talking about, though. So all that stuff right there is kind of being enforced to anybody. If you think it's just, oh, here comes Sony being anti-consumer, I'm like, then you are being ignorant and you're really not understanding. Everybody's getting hit with this. It's a regulation. Don't tell me Sony can avoid it or any of that, dude. That's not the way things work here. It's like, don't be ignorant. So Pirate Nation is posted right here, as you could see. The screenshot, which we're going to get to in a second, says PlayStation is facing huge backlash over its new age check rules for UK users. Some users say their console is almost unusable now. That's terrible. You know what I mean? To comply with the Online Safety Act. See, this is the Online Safety Act, not Sony Safety Act, not PlayStation Safety Act, where Sony's implementing some system. It's like, no. This is third party coming into Sony's system that you have to comply with these regulations in that region. Sony now requires players to prove their age using a face scan with Yoti, a government ID, or a phone number. And according to people, once that's done, they delete it. I don't know about that, but because you know how the system is. This is needed to use voice chat, party chats, messaging, broadcasting, and multiplayer features on PS5 and PS4 consoles. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like to me they're trying to enforce protection against weirdos talking to underage people. Hey, man, I will never be against that. You know what I mean? We've talked about sensitive subjects on this before. We've done this before. But then, there's another side to the spectrum, too, where if people thinking somebody wants to manipulate on top of that and be a subhuman, I can understand why some people have certain points of views on that. But that's not what this is mainly about. This is about what's really going on. We've seen the evidence of some catastrophic stuff break out this year with all types of files and everything. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad. Definitely not good, but we're not going to get too far off topic. Single player games can still be played without checking. Here's the thing that I like, where Sony is like kind of making it to where, look, man, if you're still in the single player world and you don't talk to a lot of people, a lot of PlayStation users are like that. Just keep on gaming. It would have been more bad. It would have been terrible because I think that would be a Sony decision. Just what you could realize, Sony is still trying to have a door open for you if you don't communicate with people and you don't socialize. If it would have said your single player games are locked if you don't do this, it's like, oh, see, I feel like that's where Sony would have stepped in to restrict you on top of this coming in. Just listen to me, guys, right? Because that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like, no, that would have been a problem. Because if Sony says your single player games can still be played without checking, that's a move that Sony made. Let's talk about what Sony's doing, and then let's talk about the ultimatum across the whole entire region. Because no, I don't care who you are there, you're going to keep being hit by this. Look all over. But social and chat futures will be locked from June. So this is not an argument. This is a social and chat restriction. This is a problem in that area. this gives you the idea of what the hell's really going on here. Use your detective skills. Everybody has basic detective skills. I want you to think about why you can still just be a gamer, but if you want to communicate to somebody to a certain degree, man, I need to see something. It says a lot, guys. Come on, man. Let's not be goofy here and ignorant, man. That right there is, to me, the key highlight right here. Single player games, most PlayStation is single player. When you think about their games and certain other things, obviously it's online too, can still be played. But if you want to talk to people or you know what I mean, and get in a chat with somebody, you never know who it is. I need to see who you are. Because something is going on. It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue against that. Okay. And if there's nothing wrong with you, what are you threatened by? You know what I mean? Definitely if you're not in the UK trying to come in and grip and do all that stuff, it's like, dude, this doesn't affect you. But you still should cover it professionally and give people a deeper analysis of it. And that's why I say that when we're talking about this, let's be honest here. What do you think that is? It's against creeps and weirdos. Nobody want that in the gaming community. So Sony has had major data leaks before, and Yoti has been fined for data problems. Okay, now I can understand if this is the one that's doing that and they're leaking your data, and then you're being told at the same time, this is a double-edged sword. Hey, look, that's what I said. Let me get to this next. If they're getting to this and then you realize, hey, man, you've had data problems before, and you're taking my face, right? And you're invading my privacy to a certain extent, and I'm wondering if I can trust you. And then there's a lot of comments. I've read multiple threads on this already. A lot of people saying, all you got to do is do that. After that, they delete it. And you don't have to 100% believe that. I'm not making a video to make you not do that. So it says, longtime players are asking why they must prove their age now. Some UK adults do not want face scans, saying this breaks consumer rights. That's going all the way back to 2015. I know what they're talking about. There's a right for that, of course. Rights by removing features people already paid for, meaning that when I got this console back in 2015, we agreed and consented on something. I feel like you're now breaking that 2015 agreement. If you've had the console before this, that was the thing. So now let's take a look at this age verification picture right here. It says right here, you can verify your age by facial scan, ID, or mobile number. Verification methods available may depend on your country or region. To use facial scan or ID, select next. If you use mobile number, it can be added to your account to use for account recovery. So this is something that is kind of like, you know, it's just coming in front of you and it's like, hey, you ain't getting past me unless you hit that agreement button. And if not, you're being locked out of those futures. Some people are saying they can't even access their console, but it's interesting because that's not what it's saying. So I'm curious to see, like, I want to see like a live video of that, just to see if that's true. If so, man, that's terrible. Hopefully that can get resolved. And then we see right here the Sony symbol with 18 plus. So yeah, this is the thing that's going on right now. It seems to be blowing up. There's another post with like 3.5 million. Sean comes down saying, I think you need to correct this post. I gave him a like. It's the UK government pushing this stuff. Sony has nothing to do with that. And he's correct. Like I was telling you before, this is definitely a UK government enforcement. They're behind this. We already know what's going on over there. It's pretty crazy. This guy says all these companies should coordinate and ban the UK market entirely until the government makes changes. And then it says, well, our stupid globalist government imposed the Online Safety Act, and then a petition came up to repeal it. But the government just denied it. The petition has 550,000, that's over 500,000, 136 signatures before it was closed in its own time. No rejections. This is some of the things that Keir Starmer's, as you know, that's the guy with the glasses on, liberal government has to offer: censorship and forced digital identification disguised as safety. Hey, I understand. I will simply not comply with digital ID or the Online Safety Act. So that's how those people are feeling. Everyday parents tick me off because of their inability to take care of their effing kid when it comes to being online and talking to adults. It's protecting children from, as you know, next time we will see photos. And this guy says, do they expect people to just go along with this? People will know it's never about the children. It's all about digital identification and basically profiling and grabbing your data and then telling you they're going to delete it. That's what he's saying. Hey, man, you know, here's what I'm saying. There's a lot of manipulation going on. I understand. Sony went from for the player to the Helldivers PSN login drama to the please give face scan your social security numbers, fears, and phobias. It's like, dude, it's not Sony. This is a regulation that is impacting not just Sony, but tons of other people. That's why I say get your information right. Do not spread misinformation so that people get in this wrong hoarding mentality again, just like this other stupid DRM nonsense. It's like, no. If you want to react off of something, make sure it's the right information. Do not be moronic. So, I mean, guys, this is definitely blowing up. I can prove it to you too as well. If you go over here to down here on Twitter and see it says UK PlayStation users push back on age verification for social features. There's almost 22,000 posts on this. This was the other post that I originally ran into. Dr. Rebecca from the UK. 3.6 million views. So PlayStation is basically unusable for me now. The UK Online Safety Act means I have to hand over a face scan or government ID just to use basic features. My PayG Mobile isn't accepted, and I'm not giving biometrics to a company with a history of massive data breaches. I think this is the thing that's also huge here. Sony Lock and Pay digitals behind an ID wall is a breach of the Consumer Rights Act for 2015. True, but it's not Sony that's doing that. It's what they have to do. Rejecting PayG and certain ID also violates the Equality Act 2010 by excluding marginalized players. We bought a service, not a digital surveillance state. Hey, that's a good post. I understand why she feels that way. If you're against overreach, follow Big Brother Watch and join the fight. You're not giving it to Sony. They have a third party doing the verification and your face scan is deleted immediately after. If they didn't do that, it would breach GDPR. So I'm assuming they are following the law. She's correct about that. Stop stressing and making it out to be a big deal when it's not. And she says, it is a big deal as this leads to a mass surveillance state and a social credit system. It just depends if they're really leaking your stuff and you can't trust this company because they've had leaks before. I think that's where the hole is open for people to get upset. But remember, that's not a Sony problem. That is their problem. And that is also the UK that is putting that act upon people. So, yeah, I mean, it gets pretty interesting. Dr. Rebecca, who's right here. Oh, whoa, man, look at that. Yeah, but anyways. Look, I mean, this is just what's going on. You know what I mean? So this post is pretty big. I mean, and I want you guys to let me know what you think about it. Leave a comment down below. Obviously, another thing that's popping up, and it seems like PlayStation's been all over the media lately, right? PSSR, everything. Sony's been all over this year. Funny stuff, man. But this is obviously not cool. And let's see how things are remedied here. This guy says, you realize that the police uses facial recognition technology all across the country. As soon as you step out the door and go into any town or city, it is being scanned. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that. As soon as you turn on your phone and there's they've been doing that, man, secretly. Yeah. So given that, why is there an issue to provide a face selfie, which will be deleted immediately if it is, right? I don't know about that. Hey, look, man, that's what I'm gonna tell you. Like, look, man, once it's up on the internet, hey, I don't know, man. It's like somebody that has a cloud, like, oh yeah, I deleted it. Yeah, not on the cloud though, right? It's like, man, with this type of stuff, let's not be a little naive. So yeah, I think I just want to tell you that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. As usual, keep on gaming no matter what platform you're on. Always drama going on here with this crazy stuff, right? I wonder what's gonna happen. And I mean, if we're over in the USA, I don't think we really need to worry about anything like that. When this type of stuff happens to me, like if I was hit with it, I wouldn't be offended because I'm online. My face is right here. I'm all over the place. It's like, what do I have to hide? I don't have anything to hide. I'm not a weirdo. I'm not a creep. I'm not going to talk to no underage man. Get out of here with that crap. You know what I mean? And I'm not threatened or bothered by this. But I can understand if other people, because this is a subjective double-edged sword, no matter how you do it. All you're seeing here is the duality of human nature when it comes to this type of stuff. And then there's always going to be people that blow it out of proportion. And then, like I said, that company has a history. I can understand that. But hey, I said what I needed to say. If there's anything else you guys probably want to add in that probably I didn't cover, let me know. Like I said, I'm pretty much trying to cover this as best as I can so that we can get a basic understanding and a deeper understanding of where it's coming from, who's doing this. Don't do no Sony pointing fingers without realizing what are you doing again. It's like, no. This is what's going on. All right, y'all. Peace out. Don't be lame. Later.